And we did that by, you put your rafters on traditional decking, put our weatherproofing underlayment, and then we came back with a wood lath in a pattern with vents that are at the eaves of the house. They come in right up underneath the drip edge there. There's a little vent channel there, and it follows up to the ridge vent. So the roof is put on traditionally just like any other, except our venting, whereas most times people use the attic to vent the bottom side of the roof, we actually vented it from the bottom side of the metal. A couple of purposes for that. One is, have you ever touched a metal roof in the summer in Texas? You can't, is the answer. They can get well over 200 degrees. And by separating that metal from the actual roof deck below, and adding a cooling layer underneath it, we're drawing air up through there to help cool that, to decouple that hot metal roof from it. Now the good property of a metal roof is, although it heats up, it also cools very quickly. And it does not maintain, it has a low emissivity, it does not push that heat down into the house like a traditional asphalt shingle would. But again, the venting underneath it allowed it to do that. Plus, as we have a perfect example today, if it ever condensates, which it does on the bottom side of a roof in humid weather, we've given it a plane to drain and to dry out. So it's a longevity issue as well that we did on there. You can also see the lightning protection. That's what's being wired up right there on the top of the silo. They're finishing the metal roof, but we did add a lightning protection system in, which is worthy of consideration, especially in certain areas. You want to know, what your lightning strikes are. They're on the side of the hill. They were certainly more susceptible to it and wanted to protect the equipment, which is a good idea. Next. Total. That's it? Okay. Well, I want to open it up to questions, but what I'd like to do, for technical questions, if you could save those, if we have time, I'll come back up. I wanted Rick and Stephanie to be able to answer your questions about living in it first. And if you would, please, if you can come to the microphone, if not, we'll repeat the question for you. Yes, ma'am.
What is the driveway made out of, and do you have a vegetable garden, and do you have any plants in the front or back of the house?
This one? Okay. The driveway right now is crushed base. Eventually we will probably bring in some other material that doesn't reflect heat and light so much. We have a place for a vegetable garden, and that's down a hill in a different part of the property where we hope that the water will all kind of wash down the hill into our vegetable garden, because water is an issue, and we don't have city water to turn on to water our vegetables. So we do have, we need to use whatever water nature gives us on the property. The plants that we have, we tried to build a house in a way that we would not have to add a lot of planting. So we have lacy oaks, shin oaks, and live oaks all around the property. And we have added like an orchid tree and mountain laurel and some things like that, just in sumac and things for decorative purposes. But we do not actually plan to add a lot of plantings to the home. Yeah.
Two questions. First one is the fire stove that you have. How much radiation heat does that put out into the house?
The cook stove?
Yes, ma'am.
The cook stove, excuse me, cook stove actually does not, we have it like about 8 thermometers because we're constantly trying to figure out what's going on in the performance of the house. The most that the cook stove has raised the temperature in the living area that is on the other side of that wall is 2 degrees. So it's less than the stove I have in a house in Purville.
All right, the second question was, have y'all thought about incorporating any gray water harvesting to use for watering of plants?
Yes, we do. We have a gray water tank. That's where our shower water and our kitchen water goes, and we use that gray water to water the trees that I just mentioned that we've added, and to try to kind of keep our live oaks going. Yes.
What other appliances do you have? Refrigerator, clothes washer, dryer?
Okay. We have a refrigerator that is just a Maytag or Whirlpool or something. We had started out thinking that we would get a Sunfrost refrigerator, but between the time we started planning this house and when it was time to buy a refrigerator, refrigerators had improved so much in energy usage that we simply bought an 18 cubic foot Whirlpool refrigerator that was an Energy Star refrigerator. And we have a clothes washer that is a small size, again, one that you can just go buy at the appliance store. We did not buy an exotic clothes washer, but it is a smaller size. It's a front-loading, low water usage, low Energy Star clothes washer. And those are, other than the television and the receiver for the dish, those are, and our toilets actually plug in. So they use they use energy because they have little fans in them to vent the moisture and the odor out of the house. So those are the only things that plug in. Yes.
Did you consider or have you thought about integrating your water storage because of the mass, thermal mass, into the house?
Integrating the water storage into the house? No, we did not consider that. The house sits on solid bedrock from here to the center of the earth, and so there's not much flexibility for putting things underneath the house.
The only thing underneath is the storage built in
In the wall system.
Oh, to put water in the wall system?
Thermal mass, but
Yeah, but we have so much thermal mass in the house already, that wouldn't have been necessary to do that. Yes.
You left out one important point. What was the total cost?
Well, if you can see, I
The
mean,
average person probably couldn't afford to build this house.
the most of the real cost drivers in the house were not because it's off-grid. They were because of my brother's design. Because it has a very complicated roof system. It has those round silos, and we used expensive finishes. For instance, we used American clay plaster on the inside instead of texture and paint, which is much more expensive but also helps us manage the humidity. So we were building a custom home, but the systems that we used and the design principles and the science of the home could be used in a home that would be cost about half what ours did. The home itself cost about $450,000, and then the systems were another about $125,000. The power system, the water system, the hot water system, and so forth. But those are kind of like a prepayment on the utility bills. And also another thing is, this is in Mountain Home. This house could have been built in Kerrville or in Fredericksburg for a significant percentage less. But everybody that came out there to work factored in their cost of getting themselves there and back, and their cost of getting their crews out there and back. So we have a lot of cost factors that other people could eliminate. And what we're truly trying to do is show you systems and tell you that they work. And we know now, I mean, we could build our house now for less than we built it, because we know more than we did when we
Are
started.
there lenders that will lend money on a grid, knowing going in it's going to be an off-grid on?
Our understanding is that lenders would favor that because they know you're not going to have big utility bills to pay. I know recently I was involved in mediating a case and some people that lived in Bandera, and for their manufactured home that they lived in, their utility bill, their electric bill was $700 a month. Lenders actually look favorably on a home where they know you're not going to have this uncontrollable expense that's going up 10% a year that's going to affect your ability to make your mortgage payment.
What are some of the other factors that would change knowing what you know now? How you said that it could be less with knowledge that
Part of it would be that we actually were not in a position to negotiate